Okay? So that's kind of the expectations. But when you look at these high expectations and the fact that my mom's very competitive, and you put those together, there was some unwritten rules for me in the house that now that I think back that were prevalent all the time, I just didn't realize it. When you went out to try to achieve something in either sports or academics or anything, don't come home a loser. Okay? That was rule 1. Rule 2, if by some unfortunate circumstance you did not achieve, you did not win, and you had to come home, there were sub-rules. Sub-rule 1, you had better given it your best effort. Okay? You can come home a loser, but you'd better try to the max. Number 2, if you come home a loser, you'd better be upset about it. Okay? Not going to come home smiling, having fun, if you lost. And number 3, there's no excuses. Try to give them, we don't want to hear them. We'll shut them down. There's no excuses. You take responsibility for the outcome. And my friends and family will tell you that that one still causes me some issues about how hard I am on myself when things go wrong. You never heard, that's okay, you'll do better next time. It's typically what moms tell their kids. It's okay, they're going to do better next time. Never heard that. Know why? Number 1, it's not okay. All right? You lost. You failed. You're going to deal with this. And to tell somebody you'll do better next time, that's an insult. Why state the obvious? You just failed. You had better do better next time. Totally didn't need to say that. Now, don't get me wrong, I was never criticized for losing. Was never berated, was never torn down. But to give you an illustration, in my senior year of college, I was selected the outstanding marketing student at the University of Akron. For me, a tremendous accomplishment. I'm coming from a city school. I'm first generation college. This is a big deal. So I go home and announce to my parents what I had just done. And my dad is proud, but he's Pennsylvania Dutch. Okay? And there's that thing in the Pennsylvania Dutch is being proud, being prideful is not good. So if you heap on a lot of accolades to somebody, they'll end up proud, and that's no good. So I could tell my dad was proud, but didn't really say a whole lot. My mother smiles and says, "That's good." Looking back now, I understand what was going on. I finished number 1. That's where she totally expected me to be. Number 1. The fact that I had attained number 1 was good. That was all it was. So I figured out, looking back, and a lot of this, I figured out Saturday. Because I had a lot of this stuff sketched out from way back, but trying to put together. To my mom, it wasn't a big deal when I finished first. It was a big deal when I didn't. Now, at this point, you may think, wow, maybe she was too tough. And maybe at times she was. I know at times it seemed like she was. This is what I figured out Saturday. If you have anybody in your life that believes in you so much that they expect you to win and succeed every time, how high do they value you? It takes somebody with incredible faith in you to believe that. When they believe you should win and succeed every time, I don't know. I don't know how anyone can value you anymore. And I came up with this just this morning. Most of my life, I would have told you that my mother was my number one critic. Turns out, she was just my number one fan. When you grow up in a household like that, it's like winning an award every day. It was a privilege to grow up with my parents. Of course, at the time, I didn't realize that a bit. And I got to do it every day. So, when the standard is set so high, when losing is not acceptable, what happens? What's the result of that? Well, you tend to give your best effort most of the time. And you tend to try harder than other people do. What's the result? You win more times than you lose. By definition, that makes you a winner. You succeed more times than you fail. By definition, that makes you a success. And so, I was able to achieve more and do more with what I have as a result of my mother. And so thanks, Mom. Thanks for everything that you did for me.